Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Gill Barham, and you have joined Radio Works World. And today I am having a light-hearted conversation with my lovely friend all the way from the United States of America, the lovely and amazing Patty Farmer.
Oh.
How are you, Patty?
I'm fabulous, and it's so nice to finally have this conversation. It's really early in the morning here, so I like starting my day with you.
Oh, that's really nice. It is actually 6 o'clock in the morning where Patty is, so I'm very, very honoured for her to join me at such an unearthly hour. That counts as the middle of the night for me, by the way, because I'm not an early morning girl at all.
Everybody that knows me knows I am up early. I'm a morning girl for sure.
You're a morning girl. Okay. All right. Well, I'm very relieved that you are, because we've had this planned. We talked about it about 3 months ago, and Patty's such a busy lady. She works all over the world, and so it's really great that we've managed to schedule this call. So before we get going on our light-hearted conversation, can you just tell us, Patty, what you do, what you love to do, what you're passionate about, please?
Sure. The thing I'm the most passionate about is helping entrepreneurs, specifically women entrepreneurs, to design the lifestyle they want to live and then help them to build a business that supports that lifestyle, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm. And how do you do that?
By helping them to master, market, and monetize their business. Because the reality really is, you could have a message, but if you just have a message and you never monetize it, you really don't have a business, right? And so I think it's really, really important for me to help women to take whatever that message that they really are so passionate about and help them to monetize it and market it and master it so that it brings transformation for them and for their clients.
Mm. And I think this is so great, because one of the reasons I invited you onto the Radio Works World platform is that Marina Nani and her Sandari, who run the platform, the founders of the platform, that is totally fits in with their mission, is to make the news, to shine their light, to give them the opportunity to have a way to be able to create this visual presence that we all need in the world in order to make the difference that we want. Would you agree?
Oh, I absolutely agree. You know, that shining passion that people have, it's so important to them, but sometimes they may not always have the skill set. They have the passion, but not the skill set or really to know how to make it happen. And I have to tell you, there's nothing that gets me more worked up and excited is when I can help somebody to be able to do that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to ask you at the end of the call a little bit more about how you do that and what programs you have, and so you can tell us all about that at the end. But the majority of this call is actually about you.
It's actually about me.
It's all about you. Now, just to give our listeners a little bit of an insight as to the background of why I created this series of light-hearted conversations. Here in the UK, we have this institution called the BBC, which you probably know about. And one of our radio shows, a long-standing BBC4 radio show that I've really enjoyed listening to for many, many years, is called Desert Island Discs. And on this show, the various presenters that they've had interview people from all walks of life. There's just a half an hour interview. You can catch it on a podcast, actually, if you're interested. And what they do is they have the same format on every show, where they give people the opportunity to choose 8 records, and then they send them off on a virtual island with the Bible, a copy of the English dictionary, and they're allowed to take a luxury and a book of their choice with them. And throughout the show, what it does is it brings out key points in the person's life based on the kind of music that they have chosen, their 8 tracks that they've chosen. And I love the show because what it does is it gives you a bit of an insight into that sports person or that scientist or medical professional or whatever it might be, or celebrity. And sometimes, I don't know about you, but we tend to form opinions about people based on our first impressions, or about on what they do or the way that they do it. And this kind of show gives people the opportunity to connect with that person in a slightly different way. And so what I wanted to do was to create it's a good show. And so what I wanted to do was to be able to create a significance, so a bit more of an it could be your clients. I know that we're on the same page, and that people are more likely to work with you if they know, love, and trust you. Would you agree?
Absolutely would agree. 100%.
Okay, so my Lighthearted Conversations is all about that, and just to say that everybody gets asked the same questions, Patty.
Okay.
But you don't know what I'm going to ask you, do you?
No, I don't. But it's okay.
And there's a reason for that. Yeah, there's a reason for that, because I want the answers to come very spontaneously, so that we can get to know the real you. Okay, so we're going to get going, and my first question is actually more of a scenario. So I'd like to imagine, I know that you're not at home at the moment, so you're perhaps in a nice hotel somewhere, and in this hotel you walk into the lobby, and you're going to get into the elevator, or we call it a lift in the UK. And you go up in the elevator, one other person gets in the elevator with you to go up to the top floor, and you're going for lunch. You're going for a very nice lunch on the top floor. You're very hungry. But unfortunately, the elevator gets stuck between two floors, floors 6 and 7, and you get a phone call from the engineers to say, we've got some bad news for you. You're going to be there for 2 or 3 hours. However, I have some good news for you. One is that you have windows in your lift, your elevator, so you're not going to get claustrophobic. And the other good bit of news that I've got for you is that you can choose the person that got into the lift with you. So of all the people in the world that you would love to spend 2 or 3 hours with, to ask all the questions that you've ever wanted to ask, to pick their brains, to spend some time with, who would that person be?
Ooh, narrowing that down would be really tough. But I think if I had to pick someone, I'm kind of thinking it would be Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
So,
okay, so tell us about Mark Cuban.
So for a couple reasons. Personally, one of the reasons would be on a personal level is that Mark Cuban is the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, which is a professional basketball team. And I love basketball. So for people who don't know that about me, I absolutely love basketball. And before my dad passed away, that was our one thing we did together, was we traveled all over going to basketball games. So that's something really important to me. And I love the Dallas Mavericks. So that's one thing. And then just Mark Cuban is such an amazing entrepreneur, and his whole story and journey, really from such a young age of, really making it happen and do what it takes. And I just really love that. I'm kind of addicted to the Shark Tank, where he is on that show, but I just really love what he stands for. And I think he's so smart, and he gives really good advice based on things that anybody can do. Right. So, a lot of times people get advice and people think, oh, that's really great.
Him.
Oh,
yeah.
He's amazing.
Somebody that it would be really interesting to be able to find out a bit more about him. So that's a fascinating insight. I get so many people with people that I already know. So it's actually great to be introduced to somebody that I don't know.
Actually, the most interesting thing about that was because it was so spontaneous. I would have assumed I would have picked a woman, but for some reason, it was such a spontaneous answer.
Yeah, perfect. That's exactly what I want. Okay, thank you for sharing. Now, Mark is hungry too. And so what I'm going to do, whilst you're having your lovely conversation with him, I'm going to magic you up a lovely table with fine dining, glassware and crockery and cutlery, and a lovely white table. also going to magic you up the food of your choice that you would like to share with your guest in the lift. Food and drink. What would you choose?
Ooh, now there's a good one too. I think for me, I would choose brisket. Beef brisket. I'm kind of a meat girl. I know it's kind of really for me, I like meat. And I know, and lots of vegetables. So I think I would do like brisket tacos or something like that. And to drink would definitely be iced tea. For some people, here's something, I don't drink alcohol at all. But not for the obvious reasons that people think, but because for whatever reason, I have not found anything I like the taste of. Not anything.
Okay.
I always wanted to.
Well, that's must try harder. No, I don't think there's any reason for you to try anything else. And I know that when we had lunch together in the UK, you were very frustrated because iced tea wasn't on the menu, and we're not very good at ice. We discovered in the UK, are we?
No, for sure.
It's one of the things that we struggle with. Okay, well, thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure Mark will really enjoy the lunch that you've chosen for him and your fabulous conversation. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you back to a couple of moments in your life. And the first one I'd like to revisit is the Patty at 18. So would you share with us where you were living, what was happening for you at 18? What was life like then?
So life for me was very busy at 18. I had two little ones. So I had my daughter and my son then, 18 and 19, so right about that age. And so that was like a busy time for me. And it was right before I really established what I wanted to do in business, right? You know, I had these kind of ideas of what I wanted to do. But I was a mom first and foremost at that time at a very young age.
It is a very young age. And where were you living?
Well, actually at that time I was doing a lot of moving, but mostly I was living in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. And what were you listening to at that time? What was the music that was going on for you then?
So at that time in my life, I was listening to pretty much classic rock. At that time, rock and roll was kind of the thing. I'm more of a country girl now, but then I was listening to rock and roll. I hadn't discovered country music yet.
I'm a bit of a country music fan. I've sung in a bluegrass band for many years, and in a country band for a little. And I've called my dog Dolly after Dolly Parton. Who knew?
Really? I actually kind of think that it's come full circle, though. A lot of the rock we listened to then is country now. I mean, come on, Bon Jovi is making country music now. And when I was growing up back then, Bon Jovi was rock and roll, right? So it's kind of come full circle.
Yeah. Okay. I'll ask you a little bit there. So hopefully that the signal is going to be to you at 35. So now about what was and where you were and what was going on at 35.
Well, I loved being 35. 35 was fabulous. So at 35, I was a single mom. At 35, and I was rocking two businesses. So I was a single mom and I had two businesses at that point. I was in the mortgage industry and I was also in the marketing industry. So I had my marketing company back then, and I was really excited about really empowering women, and really education was really big for me. And at that time when I was in the mortgage industry, it was really about education and really teaching them, you know, really about something that was probably the biggest purchase they were ever going to make in their life, and marketing for that. And those two things came full circle. I ended up just doing marketing, but that was a very important time in my life. It was right before I met my husband, my second husband, so to speak.
You
Did you come back to me yet?
Oh, there we go. Am I back?
There we go. Okay, so the last thing we were talking about was that it was right before I met my husband. Did you go away again?
It's gone a little. Patty.
I'm here.
You're there. Okay, good. We're going to try and have a quick fire.
A
quick fire round.
Okay.
Okay, so these just require a kind of either or answer most of the time. So, are you a TV or a radio girl?
I am a radio girl.
Radio girl, okay. And do you enjoy fiction or non-fiction?
Non-fiction, unless I'm flying.
Oh, okay, good. And are you the oldest, middle, or youngest child?
Well, none of those. I'm second to the top. Not quite the middle, but I'm second to the oldest.
Oh, say that again, I missed it.
I'm second to the oldest. There's 5 of us, so I'm not the middle, but I'm second to the oldest. Oh, you're back again.
Back in again. It might just create us a better. I don't want to miss.
Oh, you came back.
I came back. Sometimes, Patty, it helps if you back in again. So if you just disconnect the connection and then use this in, we might get a connection.
So disconnect to come back in. Okay. Well, that didn't work.
Oh.
Okay, can you hear me?
Here she comes.
Ah,
yes, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes
you had
that
me
works.
back in 35 for quite a while. 35 for all that time.
Yeah, did you enjoy it?
Yes, it was so good.
And then, did you say that you're one of the middle children in your family?
I'm the second to the oldest of 5.
Second oldest of 5. Okay. And then at school, particularly in the secondary school, were you a goody two shoes? Were you a class clown? Were you a bit of a handful, or?
I was a goody two shoes. Yeah, I was pretty much not a rule breaker. You know, I was a cheerleader, and yeah, that was me.
You were a what?
I was a goody two shoes for sure.
Oh, you were a goody two shoes. A goody two shoes. Okay. And what would you say is your best habit?
My best habit? I would say that one of my best habits is that I read 5 books a week.
And your worst habit?
Ooh, my worst habit. Ooh, that's kind of crazy. My worst habit is probably that other people would say my worst habit is that I own too many shoes, but I'm not quite sure that I think that's a bad habit.
No, I disagree. I think that's fine.
So yes. So do I have to come up with another one?
So what do you think Yeah, you do. What do you think your worst habit is?
Ooh, that is a good one. I would say that I tend to overanalyze things. So I guess that's what I would say. I kind of overanalyze. I have to think of all the different outcomes. And sometimes I wish I could make a decision faster.
Fair enough. And what do you do to relax, Patty?
I go have massages or I read. Those are my two.
Lovely. So you said massages and what else? Sorry?
I'd like to read.
Reading. Oh, you like to read and have massages? Yeah, for you. And do you have any nicknames, or have you ever had any nicknames?
Yes. My husband calls me hot stuff. I don't know if I should have admitted that, but my friends call me Hurricane Patty. And yes, I was caught in a hurricane. I know we're going through Hurricane Irma recently, but when I was in Tampa the last time, we had a hurricane and I was stuck there. And it took a while to get out. And so my friends called me Hurricane Patty because they said that's sometimes what happens when you meet me. I come in like a whirlwind and it's, really fast. And so they love to call me that. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Okay. I think you know that I like to sing. And so if I was on stage and I was to get you up on stage with me, what would be your karaoke song?
You would never get me up on stage to karaoke. That would never happen. I have to tell you, for as much as I am a speaker, I am not a singer. But I will tell you, back in the day, there's an old song, I'm showing my age here, by Gloria Estefan called I Will Survive. And I used to play it and I could sing it. I don't know if you know it, but in the car. And then Bon Jovi, I like to sing to Bon Jovi. But I'm a great car singer and shower singer. But I would never, ever do karaoke because I just am not a singer for sure.
Okay, but in the car, you're going to sing Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive. That will do. That will absolutely do. That's fine. Okay, now there's another scenario for you here. Now, I hope you can hear me okay. So 2 years ago, I think I mentioned this to you. I came out to the States with my husband and we were going to a wedding at Yellowstone Park. 2,300. A travel consultant who put together the itinerary for us at various different hotels. We had the most amazing time. We spent 24 hours a day together. When I shuffled around Las Vegas and he went off on a Harley Davidson into the desert. And the whole time while we were away, we didn't have one crossword, not a crossword, because we didn't have anything to be cross about. And so I'd like to know, if I was to organise a holiday for you with taking all the stresses and strains out of it, who would you choose to take on holiday that you could have a whole month with without having a crossword?
Oh, that would definitely be my husband. I love spending time with my husband, and we can literally be together 24/7, and it's just fabulous. Even after being married over 20 years, we could still have coffee and hours will go by and we never run out of things to say. So easily my husband for sure.
What's his name?
Dave.
Dave, okay. So Peter and I have been together for 35 years, so I congratulate ourselves. But...
Thank you.
Okay, brilliant. So now this series of interviews that I'm doing, probably up to now for the series. And we are creating a book called Your Heart of Significance. And you are definitely significant.
Thank you.
And everybody's going to get an entry into that book. And the exciting thing about that is that we're launching an amazing red carpet event at this incredible venue called the Horse Cards Parade Hotel, which is in central London. Amazing venue. We had an event there last year, so I know what it's like. The October is going around the world. It's following the Jules Verne route that you might well know about. So starting in London on October the 2nd, and then it goes to these places. I'm going to read them: Egypt, Bombay, Calcutta, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Yokohama, San Francisco, New York, Bordeaux, and Cobb in Ireland, and then back to London by December the 21st. So
how exciting!
It's an amazing project, and everybody's included and all their details included, so that we can basically reach more people. We can make more of a difference by connecting with the people that maybe we wouldn't ordinarily be connected with through other people's contacts, if you like. And at the same time, what I wanted to do, because of my passion for music, is to create also a playlist of get to choose. So everybody gets to choose a song that goes on my playlist. Hearted. So what would
my one song be? Is that the question? Is that the question? What would my one song be? You're kind of fading out, so I'm not sure if that's the question. I'm going to assume that that's the question. So I think if I was going to add one song, boy, you're just asking tough questions. I would have to say my one song would be by Tim McGraw. I'm trying to think of the name. It's something about being kind. It's his newest one, about being humble and kind. That's what it is. Being humble and kind. I love that song. Have you heard it?
Fantastic. Happy about that. Indeed. Although music was my initial passion, now that my real pound to, and particularly women, to stay healthy and vital as they go through their life cycle, and particularly to stay happy and vital whilst they're working and fulfilling their life's passion. And I work a lot with entrepreneurs and people that are busy. And I know that you have, haven't you, The Heart of a Woman? I think I gave it to you.
The book? Oh, yes, it's a fabulous
book. You have
book.
my book, yes?
I have it, and I've read it, and it's fabulous.
Oh, thank you. So the book is called Your Heart Matters, How to Look After the Heart You Give to the World. So my last question for today is around that very subject, because I'd like to know how you look after your heart. So from two aspects: how do you look after your physical heart? And also, how do you look after your spiritual and emotional heart? In other words, how do you look after the heart that you have to give to the world?
Oh, those are good questions. So I think physically, how I look after my heart is to exercise. I like to walk. So that's really my exercise of choice, because I think walking does two things for me. I think it is one of the best exercises, right? You can always find time to do it anywhere. So someone that travels. And also, I think it gives you an opportunity to be mindful. That when you can walk, that rather than just kind of think about a lot of things, it gives you an opportunity to be mindful of what's happening in your life. So that's why I love walking. From not a personal, from business, I think, I would say that for me, I just really believe that we're here to serve, right? We are always here to serve, but you can't serve from an empty vessel. And so I think it's really, really important to always take care of yourself too. So I really work hard on making sure that I don't run on empty, because you just can't, right? And I think that is really, really important. So I try to make sure that I'm always doing self-care, because I'm up early, right? I do a lot of work, and I travel a lot, but if you don't take care of yourself, you can't serve anymore. And I think it's really important. Did that answer your question? You're back again.
I just missed the very end. We're talking about, I just missed, for example, we talk
for the self-care.
Give them to be a good example, yeah.
For self-care. So I think for me, for self-care, I have a system set up for me that every time I do X amount of things, then I have a reward system for myself. And that reward system can be to go have a massage, to be able to go to the movies, to go, to just go visit my friends that live out of state too. I have several really good friends that I've had for many, many, many years and stuff. So I just think it's really important. Girlfriend time is very important to me. And so sometimes just being able to get away and recharge, I think is important.
Perfect. Okay. Are you still hearing me? Am I still patchy?
I can hear you. Yes.
You can hear me good. Okay. So thank you very much for sharing all of that. I've really enjoyed our light-hearted conversation. I hope you have too.
I did.
Good. So, but before we go, we've got some important things to do, because what I want to do is I'm going to put up your website on so that everybody can see it. So the last bit of the call, what I'd like you to do is really share in a little bit more detail, if you would, some of the things that you're doing coming up in the next few months, how people can connect with you, what events you're doing, what online programs you've got. Just give us an idea, Patty, of the ways that people can use your amazing services, please.
Thank you so much. So the things that I'm involved with right now, I'm in the middle of a lot of traveling. Like I said, I am in New York City, traveling to Las Vegas, Savannah, Houston, and then in Cuba all in the next 8 weeks. So crazy schedule. I'm very, very excited about going to Cuba. From a humanitarian, we're going to do some humanitarian work there, which I'm really excited about. And I'm going to be speaking on a cruise called the Lead Her Ship cruise, not leadership, but Lead Her Ship cruise. And it is going to be a lot about speaking. And I am very, very passionate about working with speakers. I specialize in speaker marketing and list building. So those things together, really building a strong community. So those are the things that I'd love to really help entrepreneurs. Again, like I said in the beginning, about who has a message. And I think that a lot of times people go to events and they walk away with business cards, so to speak, no follow-up, and nothing else ever really happens, even though they've had those great conversations. So I put together, I love to give a gift too, so I put together something that I think is really great. It's called Return on Events, and it's actually returnonevents.com. And basically what it does is, how would you like to be able to go to events instead of being tired of walking away with business cards? Instead, you can walk away with clients in cash, because we're going to teach you how to learn to leverage that. How could you leverage the things that you're doing? And so I think that that's really, really important. I'm actually doing that at no charge. So returnonevents.com. But you really get in there, go to all those events, whether they're virtual, in person, whatever you're doing, but actually walk away with a skill set of knowing how to take those conversations and convert those conversations to cash.
That's really exciting. I'm going to put this website link up, so that people can see that. I think that should be it. Returnonevents.com.
Yes.
That's right, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Fascinating stuff. Okay. And back into the UK. We met in the UK, didn't we?
Yes. I'll be back in the UK several times in 2018.
So that again, you'll be back in the UK?
I'll be back in the UK several times in 2018, as well as
Brilliant.
Sweden. Yes, I'll be in the UK, Sweden, Iceland, and Australia so far.
Wow, very exciting. Okay, and people can also connect with you presumably on Facebook, can they?
Yes, they can. Everything that you can literally connect with me across social media under Patty Farmer or Patty Farmer CEO.
Yeah, because you are an absolute guru on social media. I know. You gave me a couple of tips that I've already put into action. So I know that you have a big presence on social media and also can help other people with social media too. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time today. Thank you so much again for getting up at some ridiculous hour in the morning and joining us from all over the world. And I hope to see you real soon. Love to your lovely friend Catherine as well. And I hope to see you when you come back. Stay on the call and we'll just have a little chat. Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much. Say goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much, Jill.